Advent is a magical story in so many ways. It's the stuff of the angels appearing suddenly, the sky of the evening being filled with the glory of God. It's the story of wise men coming from a distant land, probably on a year or 2 year journey, and finding Yeshua, the Son of the living God, and offering him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh that really financed his escape to Egypt, probably. It's a magical story that of dreams and visions of Joseph being led to protect Mary as a result of a direct intervention and an angel suddenly appearing, such as he did to Mary directly. Pastor Mark spoke of that on the first Sunday of Advent in well and colorful language. There's something about God visiting that changes everything. It changes the world. Only once have I experienced what I don't have any doubt was an angel. It was so strange, and I don't know that I've ever shared this publicly in an open context. But I was just a week before I was going to resign my position at Liberty Bible Church. I had been a worship leader there and a creative, wonderful kind of thing, but I'd gotten too creative and too far away from the things God taught me, and so there was about a third of the people that just ate it up and loved it, and about a third that didn't care as long as they were worshiping, and about a third that struggled with some of the things that I had introduced into worship. And so whenever a church begins to discuss that and argues about worship, you're done. And so after 3 days of fasting, I went to Aaron and said, my pastor and mentor said, I think I need to go. And so the next Sunday I knew they were going to announce it, and I was depressed that night, and the service was over, and I would usually be the last one to leave, and I was sitting there and people were mingling around, and I was depressed, but nobody would have known why. And this gentleman walks past me, goes down to the piano and plays the most beautiful, incredible music I think I've ever heard in my life, even better than Joetta. It just was amazing. He comes to me, and I dismissed it because, somebody with intuition could have seen that I was not. And he just said, don't worry, young man. It's going to be okay. God has not forgotten you. And I kind of laughed like I am now, and I said, and asked him who he was and engaged him a little bit to get the subject off of me. And he told me that he traveled the rails, and that I told him about his music. It was beautiful, and he says, well, I just picked that up a few months ago. And I thought, wow, that's strange. And he talked on a little bit, but then he left. And he had a woman with him, and they walked out. And so I said to Joetta, let's get out of here. And our car was over to the side of the church, and where nobody parked. And we left, and we were always the last. And now there was quite a few people still there. We're walking out there, and they were parked right beside me. And this guy comes up to me, and he says, I have a message to you from God. He said, God knows who you are. And he knows that you're one of those people, and forgive me, I don't mean this to be arrogant, it's what he said, who can worship without boxes. But you've forgotten why. You've forgotten what God taught you about worship. But don't worry, God is not done with you. Very soon, he's coming to you. 2 months later, actually, no, I think it was a week later, I got a call from Aaron. No, it had to be 2 months later. It was the end of summer. And he said he had a church for me to come check out, and it was West Seattle. And and the rest is history. But the reason I love this city is because I'm called to it. Because God places it in one's heart. Whether I'm in good health or ill health, one cannot escape the calling. Like in the book of Romans, it says the calling of God is sure, his election is certain. I want you to know something. You have a calling. Just as Mary did. Just as Zechariah did. Just as the shepherds did. Just as the wise men did. What are you passionate about? What is it that God wants you to do that only you can do, but in order to do it, you really have to die to your own ego, your own self, your own stuff, and be willing to surrender to love and love alone. That's what the Christmas story is really about. God bless you.